So, the Undercover Sorella Brella has been out for a bit, and I have quite a few thoughts on it. While it is somewhat of a return to the Kensa Undercover kit from Splatoon 2, with Torpedo as a sub and a supportive special, I should have loved this kit, as I was a pretty devoted Kensa Undercover main back in Splatoon 2. And even in Splatoon 3 I got 3 stars on the original Undercover kit. So what happened? Why don't I ever touch the spiritual successor of Kensa Undercover, even though I absolutely loved it back in 2? Well, this video should explain why, so subscribe if you like what you see, and let's get into it. For brevity's sake, let's shorten the Undercover Sorella Brella as Sunder, and the Kensa Undercover as Kunder. Alright, now with that out of the way, why did I love Kunder? Well, the kit was amazing for Undercover Brella, as the Torpedo gave it many options, and Ink Armor was an amazing special for it. Let's talk about the Torpedo first. Torpedo on the surface is an amazing non-lethal bomb that deals up to 60 damage and can home in on nearby opponents. This is already a great start for Undercover, as its 40 damage combos with the Torpedo to give it a very quick time to splat. Then you can also roll the Torpedo on the ground, allowing it to act kinda like a burst bomb. Another great layer of versatility. Then you realize that the Torpedo can be shot down by enemies, which on paper should sound pretty bad. However, this just means that the enemy is incentivized to not pay attention to the player using Kunder and getting splatted. Essentially, Kunder had the most optimal sub that Undercover Brellas could have, aside from Burst Bomb, and even then Burst Bomb wouldn't provide nearly as much versatility. Then there's a special of Ink Armor, which gave it incredible survivability, allowing the Kunder user to survive basically one additional hit. This combined with the Brella shield meant that a Kunder user would be incredibly tanky. The Ink Armor also went to teammates, giving them extra survivability. On top of that, any teammates with Ink Armor gave the Kunder user assists when they splatted an enemy, which synergized incredibly well with Undercover Brella, as it would instantly refill its shield back up to full health whenever it got a splatter or assist. Kunder was incentivized to support its team with this special and just in general due to this quirk, and it was incredibly fun to use as a person who already likes a lot of support weapons. So with that being considered, while Kunder was never a meta pick, or even a top tier at that, it was incredibly fun to use, even in solo queue, where communication and coordination is much harder, something that support weapons often need. So now let's get into the Sunder in Splatoon 3. What changed about it? Well, a lot of things actually. First off, the special. Splatter color screen isn't exactly Ink Armor. Sure, it could combo with the weapon with a 30 damage hit, and it does obscure your enemy's vision. However, it rarely ever gives the weapon assists, and something like Tacticaler would have been much better, as whenever a teammate drank one of your sodas, any splat they did gives you an assist, working similarly to how Ink Armor did back in Splatoon 2. Also, Undercover Brella just isn't that good to use in Splatoon 3. With how fast and powerful every single other weapon in the game has gotten, it's harder for Undercover to keep up. Undercover thrives in an environment where people are forced to fight it head on, and the additional movement options of Splatoon 3 allow people to attack its weak points. Furthermore, it just feels very inconsistent. Maybe I'm just not used to this new reticle, or maybe the netcode is just being weird, but sometimes I feel like I definitely should have gotten a kill but the game said no, or I got hit by a bomb where I shouldn't have. So how would I fix Undercover in Splatoon 3 so that I can actually enjoy this weapon? Because don't get me wrong, I would love to be an Undercover main again, and the idea of walking up to a tournament with this goofy weapon is incredibly funny to me, but it has a lot of issues that plague it that I wanted to address. First off, I'd make the max damage from 40 to 45. This would at the very least allow it to 2-shot with a melee hit from the shield, something that the original Brella can 1-shot with. Next, I would make the shield way more consistent. It still sometimes feels like I open my shield and the game doesn't register it and I die. Then, I'd probably give it a new kit that has Splat Bomb and Tacticooler. While Splat Bomb isn't amazing for it, as it's no Torpedo, it does grant the Undercover user a lethal bomb that opponents would have to watch out for, whereas Tacticooler would give it the assist farming that I mentioned earlier. I could also see it getting Burst Bomb, or perhaps in a more memey direction, Splash Wall. Any one of these buffs would be impactful, but all of them would probably draw me back to playing Undercover, which is something I've been dying to do. So in the end, Undercover Brella in its current state is bad, and the Sunder of Splatoon 3 is a far cry from the Torpedo and armor spamming days of Splatoon 2. I don't really see myself playing Undercover seriously in the near future, unless they give it some insane buffs, which is a shame. But that's the video. So what do you guys think? Should they buff Undercover? And if so, how would you want them to do it? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all next time.